I once heard a silly comment from a comedian that said, "My son wakes up before Jesus and the Mexicans." Although this was just a comedy opener, I think what he should have said was, his son or some people wake up before most people go to work and even before most people expect or ask for a miracle that day. And in the restatement, I can find some truth. We see it, we do it, and we often experience that if you want to get more things done, you need to wake up earlier to do so. Yes, there is 100% truth in that, but also only valuable when it is done with purpose and balance. Otherwise, you simply burn out. So, in today's show, we will talk about waking up early and finding balance. So, get your morning coffee, put in your earphones, and let's dive into it. 3, 2, 1.
Just rock. Just rock. Just rock.
Today's lesson is relevant to both life coaching, productivity, and athletic enthusiasts out there. I'm pretty sure triathletes can relate to it best. It is longer than usual recording, so feel free to accept my apology in advance and choose for yourself to listen to it in segments. Don't let this take up your entire day or purpose thereof, as in contrast, it will actually defeat the purpose. Finding balance is key. So, what is the purpose of waking up early? Well, according to healthline.com, an article on the topic written by Adrian Santos Longhurst, the overview of why waking up early is important. So, this is the overview. It's got 9 points. I almost said 10, but there's 9 on my notes. Number one is so that you have more time for yourself. Number two, more time to exercise. Number three, less time in traffic. Number four, more time to get things done. Number five, better sleep or more energy. Six, healthier skin. Seven, fewer dark circles. Eight, more time for breakfast. And nine, it helps you concentrate. Now, although most, if not all, of the above mentioned are true, the problem is that without time management, balance, and especially purpose, including discipline, most of these items can actually lead to burnout, stress, eventually, and not be sustainable. You see, balance and purpose are the two underlying factors that you need to not only consider but predetermine to see just how early, if all, you should wake up. That's the question. Waking up early has three main factors to it. Number one, the cost, the benefits, or the pros, and the negatives, the cons. The cost are things like sacrifices, planning, being due diligent, energy involvement, attention shifts, general involvement, friends, family, community, and work. These are all things that comes to a cost in waking up early, believe it or not. The benefits overall is, of course, if you manage well, planned well, and executed well, that you find greater balance, you have a healthy mindset, a healthy body, easier to achieve goals because you've got more time on your hands. Most other things that was mentioned in the article, as the article is still truthful and great, are things that is the pro benefit. The cons, however, if not managed properly or without balance, is that you can be tired. You actually have more time to procrastinate. You've got more time for failures, occupied with things of little to no value. You just keep yourself busy. Being excluded from others around you, being tired, being stressed, being tired. lack of concentration. You see, this is exactly why purpose and balance is key. Before actually deciding whether or not you should wake up early, what is early for you, and exactly how early you need to be in sync with your current modus operandi. So, before setting the alarm clock, before miracles and work as yourself, or rather work, ask yourself number one, what does not fit into your day and why? I did an entire episode on we need to ask why more often, and that explains the whole theory behind it. But in overview, asking why gives us the perspective on why we do certain things. It's not to query or put yourself under, any type of judgment or anything like that. It's simply to understand better. So what currently does not fit into your day and why doesn't it fit into your day? Ask yourself what actually does fit into your day, and number three, what does not need to fit in your day. What is there that doesn't belong there? One of the biggest bestsellers on waking up early is, of course, the famous 5 a.m. Club. Pretty sure you heard about that book before. A great book with great guidelines. It was, however, very funny for me when I asked some friends that read the book. I asked them mainly two things. I said, number one, when do you read the book? And they answered when they have time or afternoons, etc. My immediate thought was, should you not start with the discipline of actually reading it at 5 a.m. in the morning? The second question was, beyond that, were you able to finish the book and actually do it? The answers were shockingly. They're either still busy reading it, no, they haven't implemented anything. You see, waking up early is just a motivation without purpose. Or you see purpose, but you have no balance. It means nothing. You can read all you want, even listen to these types of podcasts, but applying it and finding the reason to do so, that is where the magic is. You might fit everything in just fine, so why wake up at 5 a.m. in the first place? Especially if the balance is fine, or why wake up at 5 and still, do not get everything done when you actually need to wake up earlier. So before setting a time, maybe just take into consideration what your day includes currently and ideally what it should include more of. Understanding the purpose, asking the why. Secondly, if you know that you have to include more things as you jump into your wish list, just to look like a billionaire businessman, you need to ask, do you have the energy and do you have the capacity to fit it in? Or better yet, should you have the energy and should you make the capacity to do so in the first place? It is just not as easy as copying someone else's reason or motivation and pasting it as your own. There needs to be a purpose and a valuable one. So I guess a question to ask is it important to apply the 4-quadrant productivity rule? You know the 4-quadrant productivity rule, right? When we label everything as either number 1, high urgency, high importance, number 2, low urgency, high importance, number 3, high urgency, low importance, or number 4, the low lows, low urgency, low importance. Although this is one of the best tools to create a productivity line for yourself, especially on work and tasks, the question that we rather need to ask is how does ultimate balance allow for everything my day consists of? Since after all, days, seasons, etc. will change and deviate. So in essence, it really looks a bit different to the normal productivity quadrant. Still, do not throw away that tool, as it is great for productivity and time constraint management purposes. So start from scratch, your day. Number 1, what should be there? Number 2, what can be there? Or, the want-tos, you want it to be there. Number 3, then, what do you currently have? On top of that list, a helpful tool is actually to map out the energy, time, and importance. On top of urgency and importance. Importance is in how important it is to you. Energy, how much does this drain you or strain you in a good way and in a bad way? And time, do I have time or do I make time? In essence, as my opening line suggested, you need to understand really what it is costing you to have that thing on your list. And what is it costing those around me? Are they or am I miserable, tired, overwhelmed, stressed? You see, those around you also make sacrifices for your time schedule and balance, and you should always know how it impacts them. Be considerate. So, what should be included in my day, and how do I make it balance or balance out? The beauty of this is that you actually need to do this exercise, as no book or person can tell you what your day should include. It looks different. So instead of digging into yours, let me rather expose mine and hopefully be able to give you some insight on what to think of. Remember my remark and opinion on copy and paste? It does not work, but still, it does not mean we cannot learn from one another. So I'll be happy to hear about yours and get some feedback and maybe give my opinion or input. So here's mine. Things that I include in my daily balance planning. Number one, nutritional plan or eating plans and habits. Number two, training. Triathlon, duh. Number three, work. Yes, I actually do have a day to day. Number four, quiet time. Five, research and development. Things I want to know more of and apply in my life. Number six, study, reading to enable me to keep on growing. Hobbies at number seven. This can align with training or other aspects. Number eight, family, friends, and community. Number nine, relaxation or personal time. This might also include training and hobbies or even friends and family. Number 10, spontaneous moments, moments of care and love. Number 11, TV and social media. Number 12, growth. Very interesting to take note on how some of these things can overlap. Automatically, if executed well, this can actually free up time. To fit all of them in, you need to be aware of the cost implication for you and for others, what elements are time specific or time related, what elements can or need to include others, and in the same sense, exclude others, what needs to or can exclude others. How does your family feel about it, and where do they fit in? So let me give you this example in my life, right? Number one, work. This for me is time frame specific, and even if you are flexible or working remotely, the ideal is that you align your working hours with those around you. So if you work from home like me, I work from home, my wife does not work from home, it is ideal that although some of my work is flexible, to ideally do it the same time as when she is at work, so that our working environments and times can be respected by one another. Quiet time. This for me is something I do in two different ways. Number one is alone with no distractions. Others can distract you, yes, but you can also be distant from others. I don't like reading my Bible when my wife is around me, asking me questions, when my baby needs to be attended to something. It's my personal space, it's my personal time. Meaning, be strict yet reasonable and responsible. I ask myself, what can I do with others and what needs to be done alone? In my own life, in terms of research and development, this is something I actually split into task specific. So, for example, work purposes. So, if I do research and development for work purposes, I do this within working hours as gaps open up, but you need to make sure that the gaps open up and you need to open up those gaps. For training purposes, I listen to podcasts and material on the go while stationary exercising or while listening to this. And in my own capacity, my own interest, I just make it part of my social media time. Study. Not usually or constantly a daily task. I mean, it's more seasonal or rather an annual goal more of the time. So, especially in my life. So, this changes a lot and sometimes mean that you have to sacrifice time and that you needed to sleep and relax to get this done, or less of that. It should not steal time away from your family nor your health. Hobbies. I like playing guitar. Unfortunately, cycling in any form is something I really enjoy. So, this is usually something you can incorporate with community time, social time, or family time, and even personal time. Which brings me to the next point. Family, friends, and community. This is by far the most important thing in your life. If you think you sacrifice a lot, you have no idea what these people sacrifice. They sacrifice you and time with you so that you can endure on your personal goal hunting journey. My mantra in life, and especially my training mantra, is never alone or better together. If you exclude this, you better be a pro athlete and it better be in there or during your working hours. I include my family, my friends, and community in everything. In training, even if it means sacrificing or adjusting my training load, doing community rides, coffees, and I ensure I connect with their interests and hobbies, even if it is not my interest or hobbies. They are my interests and hobbies. So, whatever their interests and hobbies are, should seriously intrigue me more. Family times means that everything else apart from quiet time is secondary, and communication, attention, and energy is important. Do not be tired for them. They are not tired of you. Relax in personal time, switch off your brain. Do not open up those emails. Toggle watch notifications off. So take your smartwatch, toggle those notification settings off so that it doesn't distract or bother you. Don't dwell in time constraining or time wasting things. Focus on you and your well being. Be spontaneous. Don't schedule them, but use every spare moment for it. Your day should have time gaps to do so. I usually use my spontaneous gaps to go check up on my daughter, or have a coffee date or meeting with someone, a call, a quick joke, follow ups, etc. It's really just something that you don't plan on what you're going to do. You just have a quick 2 minutes and you're just being spontaneous to care and to love with it. Just think about the feeling, how that makes you feel when you're just on the top of someone else's mind. TV and social media, well, this should not consume personal, family, or spontaneous times, but it can form a part of it. As long as it is according to everyone and not only to you. Don't go tell yourself, oh, my wife and I, our private time or our family time is we watch this series together. And she's just like, no, I'm watching it with you, but I'm actually watching you because your attention is at the TV. So as long as it's according to everybody, then yes, it's 100% fine. Link up this time with whatever, but do not let it consume you. So these are my items. Maybe you can relate, or maybe you have a completely different set, and that's fine. So how do I practically fit it all in? Do I fit in all of them every day? Heck no. But every week? Well, maybe to a yes. So here's my example to a normal week. Okay, the days looks a bit different. So as an example, I have briefly in overview logged Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of this past week. So this is how I fitted all of these into my day. 4:30 a.m. quiet time. 5:30 to 7 a.m. running VO2 max sets. 7 to 8 a.m. breakfast with the family, and my attention was present. 8 to 4 meetings and work. During the working hours, I managed to also add 20-minute research and development, 20-minute social media time. Lunchtime, I did a relaxed swim, recovery for training, and personal switched off my brain for myself. So I kind of included everything in that set. My spontaneous moments included did a check-in with my daughter, a quick hello. I called 2 friends and I messaged my wife to tell her that I love her. 4 to 5:30 p.m. was quality time with wife and baby. And once again, my attention was present. 5:30 to 8 p.m., we had friends over for dinner. 8 to 8:30 p.m., personal time, played some guitar, and just self-reflected. 8:30 to 9 p.m., prep and packed for the next day. 9 p.m. to 10 p.m., I read, chatted about my day with my wife. We had a conversation and we went to bed. Now, what's very important, guys, is I don't schedule my day to the hour like this. I only have these times available because I logged it. This is part of my balance habits. This is something that I made part of my everyday habit and balance and purpose. So it's not like I go, ooh, it's 3 o'clock, now I need to go do this. No. Certain things, yes, when you have friends over and you schedule out time, when you've got work and you schedule out time, all your time specific or time constraint objects usually has got a time start and end to it. The rest just needs to fit in. So As I mentioned, now my Monday, I'm going to mention my Wednesday and Friday now. The times are just there because I logged it as such. It's not like on the minute, and it wasn't like I need to stop now and start there. It's just to show you that when you have balance, you've got purpose, that you can actually fit it all in. Wednesday, 4:30 a.m., quiet time. 5:30 to 7 a.m., I did a community cycle that was inclusive for everybody that want to cycle. 7 to 8, breakfast with family and play some guitar. 8 to 10 a.m., listen to some podcasts. 10 to 4 p.m., I had work and meetings. And during my working hours, I had a lunch break, coffee with my wife. My spontaneous play, 10-minute playtime with my daughter. And I responded to social media messages. 4 to 5:30 p.m., I had board meetings. 5:30 to 8 p.m., we had once again friends and family dinner. 8 to 9, I prep, packed, and planned for the next day. 9 to 10, I'd watch sports highlights, went to bed, and had chats. Friday, 4:30 a.m., I read, I studied, and I did listen to some podcasts. 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., family time. 8 to 9, farm time. Went out on the farm, out on the fields, and did all my preparation and data analysis. 9 to 4 p.m., work. Getting everything done because it's Friday, planned and ready for the new week. 4 p.m. to 6 p.m., we did a hike, walk, and some jog with the family. 7 to 10 p.m. was family time, inclusive of TV time. The conclusion is, once you know what time you should have available, you need to make it practical. So in conclusion, here's my final 10 tips. Number 1, everything you do needs purpose and ought to carry significance. Number 2, make sure you have the energy to do what matters most to you and to others. Number 3, do not burn out. Reevaluate and listen to your health. My weekends usually starts later or includes a lot less detail. Number 4, it takes 21 days to form a habit. Number 5, snoozing your alarm should not even be an option. I believe this is where the saying comes from. If you snooze, you truly lose. Number 6, prep your work and your to-do things the night before so that when you get at it, you get straight at it in the new day, in the new morning. That looks completely different. I set up my daughter with assistance of my wife, but I set up her day's meals the night before. I set up her bottles, her formula feeds. I set up her play routines. I set up my training gear for the morning. My water bottles are full up. I do my planning, make sure everything's on charge. I even rack my bike on my car the night before. So I do all the preparation work the night before. So when 4:30 comes, it's not an excuse to snooze more because you've done more the previous night. No, it's a matter of being able to start the habit to just go and do it. Number 7, you need to be pleased with what you do or take on. Number 8, reward yourself. Number 9, it needs to come from you, your plan. No book should tell you to do this. This podcast shouldn't even tell you to do this. This should just inspire you, and you need to make that ultimate decision. And then one of my favorite is please remember that you do have a job. Do not let all the hobbies and everything great out there just completely overflood you, that you just stagnate at your work. Be more than that. Be really the inspiration to others, that balance doesn't mean you just a zombie at work. Revisit your plan and track your performances and strategies. Wake up earlier only if it has meaning, purpose, and you can balance it. Up till next time, see you soon. Bye.
just rock, rock, rock.